Hello and welcome back to LM Simulation here on YouTube. Gosh, it's been a while. It feels like it's been an absolute lifetime since I last did a Train Sim Classic video, and we're back in Train Sim Classic. So welcome to 2023 here in Train Sim Classic. Now I'm going to kick things off with, well, probably quite a useful video here. So if you're watching this for the first time, welcome to LM Simulation. I hope you do enjoy the channel this year, and like and subscribe. So I've got a lot of new content coming to you very, very soon, so do keep an eye out for that. I've been a little bit preoccupied with my own life at the moment. I've got a lot of changes going on in and around my personal life, so I haven't been able to dedicate as much time as I would have hoped to LM Simulation. This is why it's only merely a hobby for me. So if you enjoy this video, do leave a like and even a comment if you want, and I can always reply to that, get back to you whatever you need. But anyway, welcome to this second of my tutorial series. I was going to say first, but no, technically the second. Basically, for any of these that don't know out there, I've been working in Train Sim, well, whatever it's been, since Rail Simulator, which was back in 2008, I believe, around that time. So I've been in the simulator for about 12 years now. Probably a bit longer than that, actually, 13, 14 years maybe. And I've experienced it right from the very start when we had Newcastle to Edinburgh, Oxford to Paddington, all of those different routes. And we could, even Bath Green Park to Temple Coombe, that was one of my favourite routes back in the day. That's going back a long, long time. And that was even before we had the likes of like London to Brighton and simple routes like that we now have and take for granted in the game every day. So I'm going to go back to roots and basics on this one. We're just going to go back and strip the game down to exactly where you want to begin. And if you are a beginner in Train Sim Classic, this is the series for you. So do keep an eye on this. So this is my tutorial series. The first video that I did was how to create a standard scenario. Now that usually can take between 20 minutes and about an hour, maybe even 2, depending on how long the scenario wants to be, how many times the game's going to crash in between you doing that, and various different other things. But for this one, it's literally going to be a 5-10 minute scenario. It's probably going to take me longer to speak right now than it is for me to do the scenario. So we're going to be looking at how to create a free roam scenario here in Train Sim Classic. So we're at the main menu now, so this is what you get presented with when you first launch the game up, whether that be in 64-bit or 32-bit. Now usually you go to drive if you want to take a drive out, but we're not. We're going to create a free roam scenario from scratch. So essentially we're just going to start off, put some things in place, basically make a free roam scenario exactly what we want it to be. So I've decided for this video we're going to be using North Wales Coastal. So I've been in Northern Lines this morning by the guys over at OTS, but we're going to be doing North Wales Coastal, the more modern one, and we're going to be doing a quick free roam scenario at Crewe, for example, a station that I know extremely well. Once you've come into the sort of build menu, you just want to go down to scenario, find the route that you want to do, whether that be North Somerset Railway, North Wales Coastline, whatever, and then you click new scenario down here at the bottom, just like you did for a standard scenario. Except this time, instead of clicking standard scenario, you're going to be clicking on free roam scenario, which essentially is going to ensure that you can drive any train that is available, and you put a driver icon on. So we're just going to call it, for example, LM Stream Free Roam. So we're just going to call it that for now. We're going to have it starting at Crewe, so that's where it's going to launch the game at, and you're going to press the create button. Now, depending on whether you've got the game on an SSD, various different other sort of things going on, it will depend on how long this takes to load all your assets. For me it doesn't take very long at all, as you can see there, less than 20 seconds. I've got the game on an SSD and I've basically perfected my Train Sim install now. So right, this is the icon you need to be worried about. Now there are quite a few and they do overlay, as you can see here. When I highlight it, it goes green, but when I don't highlight it, it becomes white. That means there's multiple of these scenario markers in here. As you may have just seen in the menu, I did also have another Crewe free roam that I've done before. So you want to differentiate them. Easiest way to do that is just to click on it, and then you've got all of these little icons. If I press I think it's the y-axis, this one here, if you can just move it up a little bit, and then that way you can sort of work out which scenario marker you're working on today. Now we're working on this one, so you just want to double click this scenario marker, and then you'll get all of your settings for this scenario. So, for the purpose of all intents and purposes, we're going to have our scenario start at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. It's going to be cloudy but a bit showery, and it's going to be spring because that's what it is at the moment. The date doesn't really make any difference, but we'll take it to today's date for purposes of anything. To be honest, it doesn't really make much difference. If you've got advanced trains in the sim, it can work out which date it is and show it on the train management screen. But it depends on what you're going to be driving. So it's 2023. It is the 11th of the 2nd today, so that's when I'm filming this. It won't be when this video goes live, don't worry. How many stars? How hard is it? Well, this is a really superfluous thing because free roams are not like standard scenarios. You don't have a difficulty in a free roam. You're just free roaming, so you can just leave that as 0. Duration, also, that's a superfluous sort of, you don't really need to put a duration in there because it can be however as long as you like, so you don't need a description. I just put free roam, to be honest, and the briefing, free roam. You don't really need to do anything. You can put an author there and a start location, but it doesn't really make much difference in a free roam. You don't need any issues. You don't need rolling start or anything that's down here, and I always have it on all in terms of what it's going to let you drive. So yeah, that basically sums that up. So now you're here at Crewe Station. We're on platform number 6. If you are familiar with Crewe, you'll know this is the platform for your Transport for Wales trains to Manchester Piccadilly, selection of Avanti West Coast services, London North Western Railway services to Liverpool, although they also go from 11, which is the platform behind here. And so does the Avantis, they also go from 11 as well. So 6 is kind of used for a bit of everything, to be honest, so here we are. Right, so first things first, you're going to want to put some trains down here at Crewe just to make it look a bit more realistic. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start off with a couple of Class 350s because, Crewe is home to Class 350s, there's plenty of them in Crewe. And there's usually one parked up here on platform number 7 that's terminated from London. One quick question is, where the hell are the wires? That's interesting. There's no wires on platform number... That is... Yeah, look at that. I've not noticed that before, but there's literally no wires on platform 7. That is... yeah. That is certainly something Dovetail Games need to be aware of. That there's no wires going into platform 7 or 8. I mean, 8 doesn't really see any electric trains at all. It's very, very rare if you see an electric train in 8. It's usually the Transport for Wales terminating services. But usually have a 350 in here. Let's hope you've got some wires on this side, have we? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're fine. Right, there's usually a Class 350 parked in here. The one that goes off to Birmingham New Street via Stoke-on-Trent. That one. So we're going to get out our Class 350. So the first thing you're going to want to do here is you've got all your sort of train menus. You're going to want to click this box icon with the sort of arrow on it. Once you click that, your sort of search in asset menu is going to come up. I call this SIA, search in assets. No idea if that's what they call it at Dovetail Games, but I've just called it that for the all intents and purposes of this video. So this is going to show you all the assets you've got installed in Train Sim Classic at the moment. As you can see, I've been playing this game for so long, far too long to be honest, and I have about 700 gigs worth of assets in this game at the moment. So yeah, it is quite large. So we're going to first want to get the Class 350 enhancement pack installed so that we can have the sort of the enhanced version of the Class 350 in the sim. So it's not actually listed here as Class 350 for some odd reason. The guys over at AP work in a very weird way, and sometimes they put it under something different. So it partners with the Class 450 EP because they're both technically the same. So I press Class 450 EP and Class 450, and then that's your that's your trains loaded in. You just need to select the core game. Now, where does the Class 350 come from? Well, it comes from the Class 450. Well, the train sim version does, and that comes from Portsmouth Direct Line, which is under DTG. Now, don't get that confused, and I highly tell you should not do this. Don't get that confused with Portsmouth Direct Line. Let's have a look. I don't know what it was here. No. Okay, thank God. Right, okay. I think there used to be a Portsmouth Direct line in RSC, which was the old Portsmouth Direct line, the one before they extended it to Waterloo, and the 450 does not work from that. I think it's Guildford District anyway, they renamed it. But we want to use Portsmouth Direct line as it's listed in the DTG menu, which is the one down here. If I go down, Portsmouth Direct, there we go. Just want to click this sort of train icon there, and then that will load your assets in. As you can see, some Class 4 350 stuff has popped in, repaints, reskins, and various other things that I've got. So I always go to this one, which is the consist menu. This shows you all of your 450s and 350s that we've got. I've got some reskins installed, like this one here, which is a Vulcan Productions Class 450 reskin that looks quite nice. We're just going to want a 4-car sort of X London Midland Class 350. So if you just scroll down, you'll get down here to the X menu, which is X London Midland LNWR. That's what I want. That's exactly what they would use. So if I plonk that there, and as you can see, just about fits in the platform. Not very well. I might need to move it a little bit closer to the thing. Ooh, it's a little bit tricky. It is very, very tricky on trains like this. Sometimes you've got to sort of just start from scratch every time you put something down, but I want it as close to the buffers as possible just to make it a little bit realistic. So let's go back to what we were looking at, which is that one there. Yeah, about there. There we go. That's about as close as you're going to get it. Still going to be slightly off the platform at the front here, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so you get your driver icon now over here, what you were using in the standard scenario tutorial, and you just go over the train and click driver. That's all you need to do. So in the standard scenario menu, you would have to go into here and you'd have to name it, put it as a driver train. Is it loaded at start? Where's it going? What time is it going? What sort of routing and pathing capabilities is it going to have? None of that. You need that as a free roam. All you need to do really is just name it, to be honest, if you want. So I just name it LNWR 350. And there we go. So that's your LNWR Class 350 that is loaded there in the sim. Now, what do we normally have on platform number 1 at Crewe? Well, you normally have a Class 319, a Thameslink, well, an ex-Thameslink Class 319, usually the Northern 319s. So now they are not an enhancement pack, that is an actual rolling stock pack. So rather than having to tick all the different boxes, you've just got to tick one, and that is Class 319 Pack 01 under AP, and then they will all load up here. So if I scroll back up, here you go, you've got all your Class 319s now. So we want to go to Northern, the new Northern livery, which is, I believe, just listed as Northern 4-car. And there we go. There's your Northern Class 319 in place. That's fantastic. I mean, you don't really see them here anymore, unfortunately. They've been overtaken by Class 331s lately. So we only see 323s and 331s now. We don't actually see any 319s at Crewe, which is sad. It used to be quite nice to bash on. But anyway, there you go. So you've got your Class 319, that's set, so he can do his own thing. You're not going to get very far in that 319 because the only direction it actually goes is north out of the station through to Wilmslow in that direction, and that line is not in this route. So it's not really much point in putting it in, but I'm going to put it in anyway. Change end, for example, and I'll put it as the driver at the north end because he's going to go that way. There we go, lovely. So now you've got 2 trains already set up in the simulator. So we're just going to put one more, a freight train. Now you get quite a few freight trains at Crewe. One of the ones that gets photographed the most often is the Pinnocks branch freight train, which runs over to a place just outside Longport, to basically an all new aggregate siding that they've developed in the Longport area. And essentially it gets served by a daily, pretty sure it's daily apart from Sundays or Saturdays, gets served by a daily Colas rail operated freight service, goods service that operates usually with some J&A, MLA wagons, that sort of thing. Just basically an aggregates train is what it is. So that's quite famous for being seen at Crewe, and it starts off at the Basford Hall sidings, which are just to the south of the station here. So, this is the sort of place where it usually parks up and waits for access into the station. So we're going to create that freight train now, just to show you what it would look like. So first of all, you need the class 56, because that's what they usually use on it. So I'm going to activate the 56, because it is a sound pack, well, an enhancement pack technically. You have to do it the way that we did that class 350 earlier. So I've got to go down now to RSC, who originally developed it, and go down to the sectors 56, 56, and then it should be there. So now if I scroll down to class 56, there we go, it's all showing here. So Colas AP, that's the one we usually go for. There you go, 56094 in all its glory. I'm going to put the driver at this end and put a driver icon on. Now you're going to want to attach some goods wagons onto him, because he's going to be taking a goods train. So normally it's JNAs and MLAs. I don't believe we've got MLAs in the Sims, so we're going to have to go for just JNAs, which are provided in a wagon pack from Archer and Powerhouse. So there you go. Select the JNAs, you've got them here, empty or loaded. Well, I think it was a couple of days ago I saw it, and it was loaded. So a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, I am losing track of time. Probably happened a long time ago, but I can never remember that. So anyway, we're going to have about 6 or 7, maybe 8 of these wagons, not too many. It just depends on what the requirements are. But usually I sort that out. Come on, there we go. I'd highlight. So, this is something else I was going to show you, what I was going to do here. So you've got 2 of them, and I want to make a rake of 8, and you don't want to have to keep going click, put in, click, put in, click, put in. So what I do is I hold the shift key and hover it over one of the wagons, and then I press it, and it will highlight the entire wagon. Then if I go to the copy function, and then the paste function, you can paste that consist again, and then you can just do the same thing again, copy, paste, and put some more wagons in. And then finally we'll do it one more time, just so we've got plenty of wagons. Go to the very end. Oh, it's having a bit of difficulty with the points here. There we go, lovely. And as you can see, it's merged with the class 56, how beautiful. So I'm just going to delete some of these wagons, just like that, and there we go. We now have a consist. Now that's not complete, because we're going to need to put a tail light on the end, so we're going to go for loaded tail light. Yep, yeah, it's got the tail light on the end, that's good. Lovely. So that shows the consist is now complete. He's turned round for some reason. Don't ask me why, but there you go. So that's your freight train in place. So now he can come in, run around the train, do what he needs to do. Right, so the very final part is adding scenery. Now sometimes I like to add bits of scenery just to make it a little bit more realistic in free roams. You don't have to do this, and it's definitely not essential, but sometimes I can add scenery. Now in real life, these sidings here are very overgrown. They've actually just been cut back now, so that's good to see, but they were very overgrown. So I'm going to try and see if I can recreate that in this free roam scenario. Now you don't have to do this at all, but you can if you want. So sometimes I just look for generic bushes, stuff like this. A line of bushes maybe that could look quite overgrown. Miscellaneous bushes, like a hedge bush, something like that. Something that's just going to, yeah, just going to make it look like it's been left, you know, left for somebody else to deal with. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's put a load of these bushes down, because they look quite like it's overgrown. So I'm just going to place them down like this, in a very random sort of way, just to make it look like the sidings are completely overgrown. Ugh, I don't want to be in here, very overgrown. So that is what these sidings look like, or did look like very recently. No, I want a line of them. I just want the put some along the platforms, the smaller ones. And there we go. And the very final part, there we go, looking very overgrown as it does in real life now, so there you go. Look, you can't even see the sidings. That is exactly what it was like in real life very recently, until they cut it all back, did some hedge clearing, and now it's looking a bit more like this, so that you can see through, which is lovely. Right, so that's now that's been done. I know I've left an area here, but you know, I'm only doing this for an example. So as a final part, we're going to add a person. Really, that's the only real thing that I can think about now. So yeah, you can add a person. So let's have a think. Let's have a train spotter. I know it sounds a bit weird, but whenever I go down to Crew, I'm usually just taking pictures of random things and getting them up on Flickr. So I know that a train spotter model is provided with DTG's North Somerset line, I believe. So if I go down to DTG, I need to get the assets open here to make sure that I can do it, and go down to N. Is it North Somerset? Yeah, if I press North Somerset and then go down to people and then go down to let's have a look. You can get a track worker waving if you want, so you can have a little track worker here waving at you, or you can, I think, if I have a look, I'll need to have a look at this. North Wales Coastal male train spotter. There we go. So you can have a train spotter here. Let me just put him up. I know he's beyond the line, so the the people in control rooms are going to be having a go at him. Stand behind that yellow line. That's what they'll be saying. There we go. Let's move him a bit backwards just so he's beyond that yellow line. There we go. Lovely. And he's going to be taking a photo of this class 350. So we're going to just turn him a little bit more to the 350. There we go. And then we're also going to have a track worker at the other side waving as the freight train makes its way into the station. And then I'm basically going to show you what the end product is of all of this in just a moment for you. So that's pretty much your free roam set. You set a couple of trains up here, you've got your freight train that's going to come into the station, you've set some scenery up, you've actually set some people up as well. The weather's all set, pretty much you're good to go now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press play and you're going to load the free roam scenario. So let's see what happens. As you can see, welcome to Crew on a sort of sunny, rainy day, not that great. We can join our Class 56 freight train here. And let's get him loaded. I know I'm falling down the hill, that's mainly because it's quite a gradient here. It's going to take us quite some power to get out of here. But I'm going to set our route up so that we're due into the up-down loop, as we would be in real life. In order to run around the train, there we go, we're due into the up-down loop, that's grand. To move us forward, we've got the signal, let's turn the wipers on. I'm going to turn the game sound up a tad because I didn't turn it down earlier just to oh dear, I'm going to be falling down this hill quicker than we can get the power up. Are we able to get up the hill? Are we? Nearly. I just don't. I disagree with some. Oh my god, it's not going to be able to, is it? It's raining. No. Yeah, so I disagree with some train sim physics. There are just examples of situations where, in real life, this train would be able to get up this hill with absolutely no issues. I see it in real life every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop some wagons off just so that we can get up this hill. So let's chop them off. See if we can now start the power up again. Take us down to step 1. Put us up to about 86%. Release. See if it wants to go forwards. Please go forwards. I think we're going forwards. Let's put the yeah, you can hear that screaming now. There we go. We've got it. We're good. So there we go. as proven in real life. Some physics in this game are very, very, very peculiar. That is probably the best word for it, to be honest. But here we go, run out the sidings. Screaming 56, sounding absolutely fantastic. Right, limited to 10 miles an hour coming out here. It's not fast at all. Anyway, so let's go back to the station and see what we've done. We've got our track worker here that is going to be waving in a sec. Hello, my friend. There you go. So he's going to be waving as the driver enters the station. We're on a 15 mile an hour speed limit now, so you can hear that 56 all the way from over here. There it is. It comes into the station. Oh, you can really hear that, can't you? Much shorter formation than before, but it still does the trick. Nice little screenshot for the thumbnail. There you go, MWR 350. So, there we are. It goes. So that's us in the loop. There we go, our aggregates. And if we go over here, we've got a train spotter taking pictures. Look at that. Fantastic. He's got glasses on and everything. Brilliant. Yeah, he's wanting to get that 350, isn't he? Absolutely wanting to get that 350. Anyway, there you go. So that concludes this this tutorial on how to make a free roam scenario here in Train Sim Classic. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Do let me know if there's anything I've missed, and I'll get it into another free roam tutorial. Our next free roam tutorial will be on a completely different aspect of the game, something that you've probably not even looked into before. I'm not going to do route building or anything like that because I've never actually had the chance to look into route building properly. But there are different aspects of the game that I will be looking into and going into more detail about. So we've done a standard scenario, we've done a free roam scenario. So our next one is going to be sorting together a quick drive, but I won't be doing that until the summer. There'll be a lot more content coming your way regarding Train Sim Classic, so I do hope you do enjoy. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching this quick 30-minute tutorial on how to create a free roam scenario here in Train Sim Classic. And I'll see you next month, so we've got a lot more coming your way. Train Sim World 3 is on the agenda next month, so do keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your February, whatever's left of it now, and I'll see you next time here on LM Simulation. All the best, do take care, and ta-ra!